Hi, welcome back to Sarco in this edition of Unload. First, I'd like to thank everyone for the comments that we get on our videos. We read all of them and enjoy them. If there's something you'd like to see in a video, put it in this comment box, and if you like what you see, please subscribe. So today we're going to not just talk about any specific gun, but a lot of people come into Sarco looking to start their military surplus collection. I'll warn you before you do, you can either call it a highway you're going down, a cliff you're jumping off of a rabbit hole you're going down. So what we did, we took, this is an 1896 Swedish Mauser, and we'll go over it and we'll look at some of the things that I like to look for when I pick up a gun, and hopefully some of the suggestions will help you in the future. One thing I do if I'm looking at a gun, 3 things I can't live without is some kind of magnifying glass, a flashlight, and a bore light, and we'll see how they all come up. So we've done a little research. We know we want the Swedish Mauser. We know a little bit about them. We come into the gun shop, say to the person behind the counter, can I see the gun? First thing when you get handed the gun, if the bolt is not open, open the bolt, make sure it's not loaded, and make sure there's not one in the chamber, because it's always safety first when you're handling guns. So let's take a look at this. We first start looking at overall condition of the gun. This gun's 110 years old, so it's not going to be a new in the box gun. The stock is solid. We'll check it for cracks, particularly back here behind the receiver. We'll check the handguard for cracks. We don't see any cracks on the top or bottom. The gun hasn't been cut in the back and another butt plate put on. Then we'll look at the overall finish of the gun. Always keep in mind the guns you're looking at aren't new. Like I say, this is a 110-year-old gun. So the bluing is a little bit worn on the barrel, which can be expected. It has the sights. It has the bolt. This one has a cleaning rod, which a lot of times you won't find on the gun. So one thing you'll do is you'll look, every gun has a serial number, of course. So we'll look at the serial number on the gun, and we'll look at the last 3 digits, 683. Now, most Mauser rifles, the parts have numbers on. It just depends on which particular Mauser you're looking at, what parts are numbered. So the next thing we do, start at the front of the barrel. We look at the crown of the muzzle to see if it's deformed. That will affect accuracy. It has the front sight, like we said. We come back to the first barrel band, and those same 3 digits are on the barrel band. Come back to the sight, lift it up. We have the last 3 serial number digits on it. Come back here to the bolt release, and on top we have the same 3 digits. So far we're batting 1,000. Look at the butt plate. We have the same 3 digits. The only place on this gun so far that doesn't have the same 3 digits is our mag plate, which is not a big deal. So we have an almost all matching gun. Now the important part is, does the bolt match the receiver? And if we pull the bolt out, we'll see that the cocking piece matches. Looking it over, bolt handle matches. So this is basically an all-matching gun. Second thing we can look at, there was 3 companies that made 96s. Mauser made them for 2 years. Husqvarna made a real short run of them. And then Carl Gustaf made the bulk of them. When you look at the parts, if the crown is up, that's Carl Gustaf. If the crown is tilted, that was made by Husqvarna. When we look at all the parts on the gun, all the parts are Carl Gustaf. Caliber, of course, is 6.5 by 55 or 6.5 Swede. Excellent cartridge to hunt with, excellent target cartridge, just an excellent all-round cartridge. And we look at the receiver, we'll see Carl Gustaf's name, crown, and the date of manufacture. Next to the serial number, we'll see the inspector's initials. So this is a nice basic Mauser that takes 5 round stripper clips, One unique thing on this, when we look at the side of the receiver, it's stamped SA. That SA, which is stamped right here, means this gun went from Sweden to Finland in the Winter War, and in the continuation war it was used. Depending on the source you look at, somewhere between 40 and 70,000 guns went over, and then the Swedish Shooting Society also sent about another 8,000 over. After the war, many of the guns were returned to Sweden, where they were then sent over in an export shipment. Now, until 1968, you didn't have to put an import stamp on the rifle. So when we check up here at the barrel, there's no import stamp, so this gun came in before 1968. Now, the reason for the flashlight and magnifying glass, of course, is to verify the numbers. The flashlight will help you with the light, verify the numbers. The bore light, we turn the light on, put it in the bore to check the rifling. One unique thing about Swedish guns is there's a plate in the back that they tell you what the bore diameter is and also the condition of the barrel. This is a number 2, so the barrels still has very usable rifling in. Number 0, of course, is perfect bore, then 1, 2, and 3 is a barrel that would be replaced. Now, when they started in 1896, they used the 156, 160 grain round nose bullet. In the 1940s, they went to 139 grain Spitzer. So, of course, trajectories are different. This has the original sight on it, and what they did was they put a little plate or decal here so that the shooter would flip over and look to see what adjustments he needed to make between the 160 and the 139 grain bullet. This is an excellent gun. One other check you can make is what's the condition of the firing pin. So this bolt just unscrews in the back. There's no lock like on the 98. We can pull it out and check the firing pin tip. Check the extractor to make sure the extractor is not chipped. And that's a basic look at how we determine if the gun is in good, reasonable shape. One thing you should do with any surplus gun is you should have a gunsmith check the headspace on the gun to make sure everything is good. Now, when we talked about our number 1 Mark III Enfield the other day, I forgot to mention, if you're looking at one of those and you see one stamped with a big DP on the receiver, on the stock, that means drill purpose. That means the gun should not be fired. It went back to an armory. The armorers looked at it and said this gun is not safe. So please don't buy a DP gun and try to shoot it. You're looking for trouble. Now, one other thing we can tell on this Swedish gun is if we look at the stock, I'll put the light on so you can see it. There's 2 crowns on the underside of the stock right here. So this gun has actually been back to the armory twice for inspection in its life. No way to tell when it happened, but we know it went back to Gustav because it has the crown. There's various stamps, and you can do a little research and figure out what depot it went to be reconditioned. So again, this is an excellent example of an 1896 Swedish Mauser. It did go to Finland, which adds some collectability to it. There's some folks that just collect Finnish guns, you know, the Mosin Nagants that are SA stamped, the Carcanos SA stamped, and the 96 Mausers that are SA stamped. So I hope this helps you out. Next time you come into the shop, you'll have an idea of what you're looking at and how it can help you out. So again, if you like what you see, put a comment up there, subscribe if you like it, and until next time, go out to that range and have some fun. Thanks a lot.